How about now? How about now? There we go. Testing 1, 2. Check, 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 check. Am I on the internet? There we go. I apologize for the sudden lack of beard. It's probably disturbing for you. I apologize. This is what my mouth looks like. It will be coming back. The beard is on its way back, but I had to cut it for medical purposes. Seriously. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Jason, how's it going? Hey, Chris, welcome. Dennis, hello. All the usual suspects are here. Why can't I get comfortable today? There we go. Okay, let's try that. Maybe that's it. My beard came off, and I think it changed the balance of flow in my body, and now I can't sit here. Here we go. Hey, Masato, how's it going? Good morning. Hello, other Chris. Oh, man. I just got back from the gym, and I'm still breathing hard again. Maybe by next week, I'll have caught my breath by the time the stream starts. So it will grow back in a day or two. It already, like, I mean, you hear that? It's in there, man. This is like, I just go, and it just, I don't like to do it in front of people because, you know, then they get jealous. So anyway, welcome everybody. It is Wednesday, and that means it is streaming day on this channel. And yes, I am beardless. I'm going to put a note in the description. Yes, my beard was shaved off, but I'm going to grow it back. Don't worry. Thank you for your concern. I appreciate it. Now, I can just go, you have thoughts about my beard, you just see the description. Or lack of. But anyway, yeah, it'll be back. So this is the cover for Kill Your Idols, which is brought back a bunch of the classic early image characters for you know, Cassie Hack to partner with and fight with, or whatever's going on in this issue. You better buy it so you know what's going on. But it was drawn by Tim Seeley, who he was one of my earliest ever collaborators. He is to blame heavily for my being in the comic book industry. So it's always fun when he still sends me work 10 years later. But Hack Slash was my first big image book, and so Tim's the man. Yes, he is. I love Tim very much. So yeah, that's what we're doing. And I enjoyed the black and white to grayscale process so much last time that I think I'm going to try it again and see what it looks like. And that might be a mistake with this many things on, with so much to do and all these little costumes, but I don't know. I had fun with it. And so we're going to really detail this up today. And if you have questions, fire away at any point. But, excuse me. There is no man named Tim that is not okay. All Tims are awesome. I mean, I would do some history on maybe serial killers in the U.S., but other than that, yes, most of the Tims that I've met are awesome people. So, anyway, if you are new here, which none of the 12 of you are, but I'm going to explain it anyway. The inks are on a transparent layer. They're in normal mode. So later on, I can clip something to that and color the lines or whatever if I want to. This is just a base. There's nothing on it right now because I haven't done anything yet. The flats are here, and this is in the ballpark actually of what these characters' colors are, but I'll be starting from scratch. And we won't actually use the underlying colors, but we'll use that to make selections. So I'm going to set that as a reference layer, which means that when I select with the wand on other layers, it will work on that layer. And I'm sorry I explain this every stream, but if I don't, someone in the comments yells at me. So, why didn't you explain it? So anyway, this is not particularly useful on this one, but yeah, that's just all of everything except for the background. We'll lock that, and I think that's it. So from a color composition value plan, I think my theory on this one, and we will see, is I want to really push, especially because this is I don't know why I just growled when I said that. But I think I like the idea of big, strong planes on this one. Even though these characters are, you know, they're right there behind her. They're standing 2-3 feet from her. From a cover standpoint, I guess you need to decide, or I need to decide, how much do you want Cassie and this guy that she has beat up down here to come forward, versus how much do you want her to, you know, slide back in with her compatriots back there. So it kind of depends on how you want to do it. I could see like a really strong, heavy color cast, and then she comes forward, or I don't know. The thing with these guys' costumes and being well-known characters for a cover, I do think I want to have plenty of local color too. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm going to start by. I'm actually going to. What am I going to do first? I think I'm going to separate all of these characters into separate, big flat areas, because that will make this much easier to make selections later. So I'm just going to like select all of her. And I'm hitting the Q just to check the quick mask to see that I haven't missed anything. And I'm going to just fill this with a color. For now, this doesn't really matter what color this is. I just want to do it for selection purposes. So later on, I don't have to. What do you call it? What is the word I'm going for here? Why isn't that working? Oh, that has to be on. It doesn't make sense. We'll move that down there. But what that'll let me do, sorry I'm rambling. This is like pure stream of my brain, sorry. But each character will have its own silhouette, because I tend to like push and pull things a lot. And I know that I'm going to be wanting to make these selections about a jillion times over the course of this. And so, for now, I'm not going to worry about breaking up all these guys piled up at the bottom. I don't think. But maybe those guys up at the top. And this is really just to save me time later, like I said, because I tend to push and pull planes and characters, and if I want to really quickly grab an edge on something, then this will make it easier later. So it's a little work up front, but not too terribly bad. And the colors, again, here do not really matter. They just need to be different from each other. And actually, that's probably all I need, is the ground, the foreground, the background of the thing, and then change the color of this to something else. Whoops. So that that's a different color. And now I can pretty much grab her or the bottom or them. I think that's all I need. And I'm going to label this as big flats. And we'll put them down there. Don't need that. gonna change this from base to values, because that's actually what we're gonna be doing here. And I'm thinking that, oh, whoops. I'm thinking that bright background, you know, darker characters is gonna work probably. And that'll give me something on the upper end value wise to like act as a kind of a focal point for, not a focal point, but like a point of reference for everything else. And now you're going to see why I like that big flats layer, because I can just go down here and grab that and select all that stuff. But I screwed that up somehow. Oh, I did. Hold on. Wait a minute. That's not right. That. Let's try that one more time. So if we do. Let's select that. And that. Basically everything except those guys. This will all make sense in a second. Hopefully. Okay, did that work? I am certainly confused as to why that's not filling. There we go. Okay, now everything is broken up on that layer. Now I can lock it and do what I was trying to do a second ago, which is select those guys. Have you been given a reference key to tell you which image character is which? A while back. I mean, I've worked on the interiors too, so all of these characters appear there. I recently discovered your channel. It's awesome. Thank you. Man, YouTube is getting worse on the commercials. I just had one interrupt the stream. I specifically... that bothers me, see, because I specifically said... Yeah. Live ad settings. Automatically plays mid-roll ads during your stream is unchecked. Assholes. Sorry about that. That was not me. I'm not posting ads. Anyway. Now would be a good time for that. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're gonna, let's darken all of these dudes. Oh, by the way, the color that's on the is 50% gray. Like the one that I haven't changed yet is 50% gray. And so again, like that sort of acts as a stake that I can decide, like on my meter of what it's light and dark, if I know exactly where the middle is. That works in my head. I can't speak for anybody else. Let's see, and these guys actually, let's darken them also. And blood is dark. Blood is red, and red is darker than you think it is. It's a mid-tone at brightest. Don't forget that. And let's bring this back up. So from here on out, I'm pretty much just trying, like, all the colors are relative to each other. It's like I'm looking at the bat and the thing wrapped around the bat, and I'm going, well, I know that that's like light, and so I can make that a little bit lighter. And that's really all that right now that I am sort of thinking at this point, is to try to get the values in the ballpark of each other. relative to each other, and then we'll adjust from there. It's like in this book, her outfit is red. So again, I'm going to darken that a little bit. Can always be adjusted at any point. And so these values right now, you know, you don't have to be married to them. They're just there to get the party started. to get things in the ballpark where they need to go. You can always adjust. I don't remember what color is this dude. I only colored the guy for 20 pages. I don't know his colors. Bear with me a moment, guys. I am looking for reference material. My art. Sorry, guys. Give me a moment here. I really need to reorganize my like completed projects file. Like, how big is this? There is no telling how big this file is. Sorry guys, just give me one moment. I am looking for what was I looking for? It's at 250 gigs and counting. I'm just letting it count because I'm curious. 290. It's still going. Oh, there we go. That's got everybody, I think. Here's a little preview for you from the issue. If you're into hack slash, you're into 90s stuff. It's very in your face. Very 90s. But yeah, I forgot what color that guy was. So now we know. Yellow is always bright. You can't have a dark yellow. If it's dark yellow, it's not really yellow anymore. It becomes something else. Brown or olive or something. Oh, I don't need to saturate. We're in value mode here. Like, what am I doing? And his beard, again, a little bit darker than his skin. So again, everything is a comparison. Everything is a comparison at every point at all times. I think that's one of the few what would you call that? The few I don't know about rules in art, but that's certainly, I think that one's safe to say. And yeah, I didn't send my flatter reference for these on all of them, so some of these costumes are not split up exactly the way they should be, which is not abnormal. And again, like you can see in this thing, or hopefully you can see. If you can't, maybe you can. It's something some people need to develop, but those stripes are darker than the yellow. So I'm just going to leave them where they are for now. I do think these stripes should be a little darker. And I don't know why I need to do that upside down, but I did. What of it? 559 gigs. That's how many files are in my completed folder. Completed projects folder. 17,000 files in 1,700 folders. If you were wondering, I just stopped counting. All right, what else? Is that a... Hold on. What am I looking at here? There was a girl. Is that a butt? Or am I seeing things? That's a butt. That is not. Well, that's not his butt. Are those calves? Does he have massive calves? I'm missing something here. I gotta ask Tim, is that a rear end? Let's see. Oh, sorry. Interesting game, butt or no butt? Well, there's a girl character that I don't see on this, and it's very Tim Seeley decision to just have a butt. If it was any other writer, I'm like, no, it's probably not a butt. But it's Tim, so it's probably a butt. So I'm going to ask him. Like, this is the professional way to do this. You just do that, and then you email him. And so, what? No, I'm not going to ask him what it is. I'm going to say, hey, Tim, is this a butt? I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is, and I'm sorry. Oh my god, I make myself laugh. Calves from the guy on his forearms. I thought about it being calves, but like it could be. I don't know. He'll let me know. He'll let me know, I'm sure. Okay. Who is this guy? I've already forgotten everything about this. Let's see. This is... Who is this? Bear with me a moment. I'm going back through the interiors real quick to see that guy. Okay. I think this guy is like made up. Yeah, he's not like, I don't think he's anything. I think. I might be wrong about that. In any case, I colored him with blonde hair in the book, so we'll go a little lighter. All right, so far so good. On the left of the boot from the other woman looks like an arched back curvature of the spine. Could be. Could be. This is how I felt flatting the Battle Chasers poster. Yeah, sometimes you just like, I think I know what this is, and you go for it. I decided to ask. Let's see. Let's do all these guys real quick. And I'm not going to push the values quite as far on these guys. I'm not going to push them quite as far apart in the spectrum as the front will be. I'm going to keep them a little bit closer to each other. And I may or may not decide to keep that. So keep that in mind. Big chrome gun. You gotta have that. It's a prereq for all 90s homages, I think. Just making sure I'm not accidentally selecting anything else. But yeah, I really did for the first time ever do a what do you call it? A black and white to dang, time lapse wasn't recording. Sorry. Now it is. But it was the first time that I ever tried like black and white or grayscale color on an actual project, like an actual job. And the thing that I found that I liked is that during the rendering stage, it just went crazy fast to me. Because normally when I'm rendering, you know, I've got a color choice for, you know, whatever the light is, whatever the shadow is, like what material it is. Like there's all these choices, you know, that are made from, you know, throughout the process. And the difference in not having to choose those additional values, I mean, those additional hues and saturation levels and worrying about that, it just made the rendering and the detail go very, very quickly. And even by my standards, I'm pretty fast anyway. And so I'm wondering this is another sort of experiment from my perspective, just to see if on something with this many characters, has a lot of rendering and all that kind of stuff, is if it also work on in that sort of situation. So so we'll see. I'm gonna keep all of his chrome dark for now because it's kind of a darker value metal, and that way we can, when we do really bright highlights on it, you'll have a lot of contrast like you would on a highly reflective material. But I think we're ready to start doing something on this one. So I don't know where to begin. Let's start with, so this is going to establish like how much rendering I'm doing. So I'm just going to go ahead and start on her, I guess. Excuse me. I want to make sure this is all completely gray for now. Okay, yeah, there was the smallest smidgen of blue in that, and I don't really need that at the moment. And let's see the lighting here. So it got the light across the front. Like it's pretty, you know, a little under the skirt. Nothing like crazy directional or anything that I need to follow super closely or anything. Sometimes you get like hard shadows in places that, like, okay, that means I have to do, you know. I don't really see much of that other than just generally from the front at the top going that way. So it's very like sort of generic, simple lighting, which gives us a lot of flexibility, which I like. And I'm gonna pick, is this the brush that I want to use? I think it is. Yeah. So this is just a watercolor brush, actually, that I really have come to love, and I'm using it all the time now. Pro tip, if you use your wand like I do, I always leave my selection mode in intersect with selection mode, or select from selection mode, is I think what Clip Studio calls it. The reason I do that is because, one, if you don't have a selection, it acts like a new selection anyway. So, you know, it acts as a new one. You don't have to keep it in new mode. But for things like eyes. Like, I just selected her eyes, and my flatter uses the same color for all the eyes and teeth usually, and that's fine. But if I don't want to, you know, select the eyes and then go around deselecting things, do a quick selection around it, and again, because the wand is looking to intersect with the selection, you can just click the eyes. And now it won't select the other eyes because it looked at your first selection first. Does that make sense at all? Hopefully. But anyway, like, her pupils are a little darker than this, I think, or I want to make them a little darker than this. So, but I didn't want to select everybody's pupils. So this is a quick way to do that. If you want to. And I think I'm gonna do lasso-y stuff today again. I also had fun doing that the other day. And it fits the aesthetic here. How's everybody doing? Wow, is that possible in Photoshop? I don't know if it behaves the same way exactly, but yeah, intersecting selections is definitely a part of Photoshop. Because again, like, when you're using it quote unquote normally, it doesn't matter anyway, because it works as a new selection anyway. But if I was doing this in color right now, you know, it's like I would be, you know, I'd have switched colors 4 times by now. You know? So that's what I mean when I think I kind of really like this grayscale stuff a little more than I anticipated, because I really think I'm wondering, it's like, can I do interiors like this? Like, is this any... Oh, whoops. I need to put... I'm going to put gray under this, so if I accidentally use the... what do you call it? The letter C, like I just did, it won't bring a color through. Excuse me. But yeah, I am wondering if it translates, like, if the speed translates as well with interiors, because I don't know. And for things like if you want to do cast shadows and stuff like that, like for this, like, you see I kind of overpainted, and now I can come back in here, you know, with that dark color and just go right over the top, or paint that out, or leave it subtle, or whatever. Same thing with this. It's like I can brighten the legs to, like, get them as bright as I want, and then just remove you know, that from the rendering to darken it again. But I'm sort of treating this like I would if I was literally sculpting it. Like I'm starting with big, you know, soft rounder shapes, and then coming in, you know, with a smaller brush, going a little bit more heavier on the details. So if you're familiar at all with, you know, that process, it's not dissimilar, I don't think. And she's wearing like some fishnetty kind of things. And so I'm going to switch to, is that brush going to be, yeah. So I'm going to hit the light here as if the, like just some of the light is catching on her stockings, but not all of it. You don't have to do the whole thing. Just hint that it's there, and the audience's brain will fill in the rest. Oh, look at all that time he spent doing those fishnets. It's like, nah, not really. Hey, sorry to do this, but is there really no way to change the brush size other than Alt right click, or did you place right click on your mouse pin in the setting to avoid using the mouse? Yes, my right click, both buttons on my mouse is set to right click. So it's hover, hold Alt, and then hold the right button, left and right, up and down, whatever. It all in clip, it's all the same. And I'm sort of trying also to follow, like, you know, the curvature of her legs. I'm not just drawing X's on here. I'm trying to, you know, make that show up too. And then again, just a few like little bright spots will sort of make it seem like it's more detailed than it really is. Do 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 do. How's everybody doing? Questions, comments, concerns? You got everything figured out? We're all experts here now. Oh, look at her belt. See what he snuck in there, guys? Anybody recognize that? Very clever, very clever. It's an image logo, if you didn't know. No, I like that. And again, on on her skirt here, it's all ready. It's meant to be dark. You know what I mean? So, and it's not a high like reflective material, and so I'm not gonna go crazy with like a bunch of specular highlights. Like it's, you know, it literally reflects less light because it's darker. So. Maybe just a hint of light coming around the sides helps to give it a little bit of volume. And I'm also controlling how dark and light this is with opacity, because even with this brush, I can get a lot lighter or a lot darker without really just by pressing it lightly, you know. So it keeps me from having to switch colors as much. Or switch brushes, or however you want to look at it. But all this little detail all comes out. Like, there is nothing I'm doing right now that will not show up through the colors. And that, I think, is the part I like the most, is I can just detail things and I don't have to think too much at this point. I can lighten, I can darken, we can push, we can pull, all that stuff later, if we need to. Started the course yesterday, 75% done. CSB seems very technical, especially with selections outside drawing and painting. It's as technical as you want to be with it. Like, I just have a very technical process because I think I have a very technical brain. But if you're loosey-goosey with your process and want to be artsy-fartsy and do nothing with selections, that's totally cool, you know? So... CSP does seem difficult. It's really not once you learn the couple of quirks that it has. And what Teddy said there, it seems like you can make CSP do what you want. That's exactly why it took me forever to get started with it, because I always thought that, like, oh, well, you just get it and go, and like, well, this didn't quite like I thought it was going to be, and this doesn't work quite as the same way, and you know, like, I started noticing all these things that were different, and to me it was like, oh, well, this is different, it's not good. And then once I figure out that, like, oh, well, it doesn't do that, but you can make it do that, or it doesn't have this, but you can do this, and you know, all of a sudden it's like, it's way more flexible than Photoshop. I still use Photoshop to do the final stuff, but for my print files, but for this kind of stuff, I really don't think you can beat it. So and oh, let's do the bat. We're almost done with her. And then anytime you have a round cylinder with light behind it, you're going to get a little bit of light wrapping around the edge. And that goes a long way to make round things look round also. Alrighty, and let's do this guy. I'm going to flip this upside down. Sorry if I just gave you a headache. Hugs from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Hola, hello. How's it going? It's really cool to see someone doing grayscale to color. Been struggling with this technique for a while. Yeah, I can appreciate that. It took me a while to even get to the point where I wanted to try it on a book. But I like experimenting with techniques, because to me it's like that's the only way. It's the only way you can really learn anything is to just try stuff, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And if it ever gets like this, gets a little chunkier than I want, and it's not painting out the way I want it to, there's blender tools like this that I can kind of smooth that out if I want to. Oh, I'm on the blender brush. And I cannot not remember to switch back after I use that blender. I always have to go, why isn't this doing anything? And then I realize it's on the blender. I can't remember it. And not going to do quite as much detail on this hand, just to push it back a little bit. Make it not quite as bright. How are we doing on time? 48 minutes. This is a good time to stretch a little bit. For everybody, probably. Oh. Yeah, at the gym today, I think my shoulder blade finally, like, unlatched from whatever was wrong with it. Like, everything I've been doing, it feels like my body's trying to turn. Like, and my coach came up and I showed him and I'm like, hey, what are my shoulder blades doing back there? They seem to, they're just not doing. And he took them and like shoved them together while I was holding my arms up. And that actually, I think it like jiggled something and I feel better. I've just wrapped my head around the fact that maybe depending on how saturated the color is, you'll have to lighten or darken the value of the color you're grayscaling in. That is true. Yeah, I think that throws a lot of people because, and I'm going to get started on this in just a second. I just got to take a few minute breaks to stretch out here. But no, you're right, because like you can even see it in, more of the darker colors in the color wheel. And I think I did this trick just the other day, but like if you screen capture your color picker and then convert it to black and white, like you'll see this, as we go across from left to right, that it's getting darker, pretty significantly darker. And so even though we're just changing saturation, and Marco Bucci did a video on this, if you haven't watched it, really good video, but like that color is actually lighter than this color, which is a greater value. You know what I mean? It's like, so if I do this on a top, and then do this, which is technically a higher value, like it's absolutely darker. And the reason for that is the saturation adds darkness also. and in some colors more than others, especially your blues and purples. A lot less so with the yellows and oranges. Like there's not quite as much of a value shift across, but especially with the cool colors it will. But yeah, it's definitely something to keep in mind when you're working. And I think I said this last week, but sometimes darker, what you really need is saturation at times. So excuse me. Sorry about that. How do you change values after the fact? Being all overlapping on a single layer, makes it seem like it would be tricky. I don't, well, everything that is going to be affecting the values is going to be above them. And so at any point, I can come to this layer and, like, let's say her dress, and, like, just darken all of it, you know? So it doesn't really matter, you know, whether you do that now or later. What I found on the first piece doing this is that, let me pull that in here real quick and I'll show you what I mean. You'll see that, like, most of the values are actually a little flatter than how they turn out in the end. Because I'm not perfect. I'm not going to, like, nail every value exactly right when I start coloring. And so knowing how to adjust that afterward is important for sure. Let's see. Where is... There it is. Oh, that's not even the layered file, though. One sec. There it is. Let me let this load up, and I'll show you what I mean, and we'll keep rendering on this. So if I turn that off, turn all of that off. Yeah. So you can see, I don't know, well, maybe you can see, maybe you can't. It can be kind of hard to see. But, like, the rendering on this, and actually that I don't think was, well, that's not included in that anyway. But this is where the values ended up before. It ended up being more about detail in some areas than actual, you know, values. But everything I'm doing to color this is on top of that. And so at any point, you know, I can go in and address that. Anyway, hopefully that helps. Excuse me, sorry. I am so sorry. Excuse me. I can't get to my cough button fast enough. Ooh. What if you want to darken the shadows but keep the highlights the same? Levels? Yes. So, like, I can go in here, levels, curve adjustments, whatever it is. But the levels adjustment will show you, so, like, and this is under the inks, so it's not picking up the black of the inks. So you can see my darkest value right now is, like, you know, 25% black or whatever, starting right here. Here's 50%, you know, here's 75, here's, you know, whatever, nothing. So you can come in here at any point and, like, you know, push that in any which way you want to go. And if that's not enough, you know, flexibility, curves adjustments are great. We can push the you know, the shadows down. We can push the bright parts up. Like, that'll push the the saturation, or push the contrast. That kind of stuff, though, we can do it at any point. I usually do it at the end. But anyway, let's do some other stuff. I've yacked enough. This guy's hair is very light. It's almost white. And so we're going to get close to white here on that. Birdie. Excuse me. That and the fact using multiply for grayscale and putting the colors underneath them made them brighter or darker most of the time. Yeah, I do not work grayscale like that anymore. I used to, and I've even got a course, I think, doing it that way, and it works fine. But what I've found is, oh, by the way, check the links in the description. Click buttons and stuff. Do YouTube-y things. That blending is exactly why I don't do that anymore, because I feel like between overlay and hard light, you can sort of get your values to do whatever you want, even over the top. And so that helped me a lot, just figuring that out. I got a nice snarl going on here, so I'm kind of tightening all of this stuff up around his nose a little more than usual. Excuse me. Be awesome if you did another painterly video again. I watch that old Poseidon video all the time. This is, I mean, I feel like this is painterly-ish. It's just, it's in gray. And then what I'm doing later will be painted also when I start doing color, but we're not quite there yet. And as we're like curving around, like again, like you see the light's hitting a little less and less all the way down, and that sort of tricks the reader into this thing being curvier than it is. That Poseidon video, boy, that's a long time ago. I've actually got, let me show you something. I need to sell this, by the way. Somebody make an offer. Where is Zobi? Yes, there it is. Hold on. Try not to show the glare. Woo, there we go. There we go. Yeah, somebody buy this. Big, nice, you know. Somebody give me like $200 for this. It's a one-off, one of a kind. I printed that for the show just to get something to bring some eyeballs to my table, and because they had used that design on the VIP T-shirt, anyway, love that piece. Yeah, I still like that one. It holds up. I don't like everything I did from those days, but but that one's all right. But you can see what I mean, though, about just not having to make color choices in this stage. It really does. It just makes it very different. It makes it a lot faster at this part, and I think it's fast enough to overcome the fact that I still have to come over this with color at the end. But we'll see. Again, all this stuff on the legs, like I'm not, you know, it's not meant to jump out at us. I'm not going insane with the detail there. Keep it simple. And if there's things on cable, not cable, it looks kind of like cable. On this guy whose name has left me all of a sudden. We want to make him look like metal, then make little small, you know, specular type highlights, and that will sort of sell that a little bit. And I'll probably do some kind of glowy thing over the end of that later. How are we doing? So, yeah, this will be done. This stage will be done not too long. We're going to use those big flats that I knew I would need to select that guy and not have to worry about selecting all this stuff. Ultra cable. I know. I should know his name. I'm really sorry, Tim. I can't think of it though. It's in the script. I'll have to figure it out. Oh man. So this stuff is meant to be kind of like chrome-ish, and so really gonna push the value here, like from as dark as about as dark as it's going to be to about as light as it's going to be. If you want something to feel very metallic, then having like a really wide range of value like that will make it appear to be that way. Then I'm also gonna hit all of these with a little soft, very bright highlight, which should sort of make it look like it's almost reflecting off itself, which it sort of is. How's everybody doing? Everybody all right? And I really want to get some really sharp highlights on some of this, which again will just help sell how reflective it is. And same thing down here. And again, I don't really want to have like a whole bunch of detail like right in between the lead character's legs here, basically. So I'm not going quite as intense on these highlights. I just don't want to create an insane amount of contrast here. Like, it's really important to balance your contrast. Everything can't have the same amount of contrast on it. Otherwise, there's no differences. There's nothing to separate it for the reader. And it's kind of like having areas of rest, almost like around areas of busyness. Like maybe that's another way of thinking about it if it helps. And let me see if Tim responded. Yes, it's one of the superhero ladies lying on her stomach. 90s image style always means butts. I told y'all. I'm going to respond real quick. Hold on. I thought it was a butt. If it was anyone else, I would have questioned that further. But yeah. Good afternoon. Hello, how's it going, actual Dracula? How are you? Welcome, welcome. Dennis, you knew all along, huh? I mean, I kind of did too, but that's not one you want to like, take a stab at and be wrong. Anyway. His eyes are red, which is why they're staying dark, in case you were wondering. And this is meant to be very chromy. So going really sort of intense on the highlights here. Excuse me. Again, a little bit brighter on the and more intensity on the chrome stuff so that it feels like a different material than the rest of it. Tim post on Instagram today about how he wishes he had stuck to drawing sexy ladies and butts instead of writing. No, I saw that too. I think I saw that. I think he tweeted it also. I've really cut back on how much I'm spending time on social media, and it's been wonderful. I strongly recommend it. I mean, do your minimum you need to do to like promote whatever it is you got to do, and then get away. All right, what am I missing? What have we not done anything with? These guys on the bottom, which they can kind of, they'll be simple. We won't really go quite as crazy on them. Again, being a little bit looser with the details here, like it's not quite as critical. It's in an area that is, this guy is really just meant to be background. Don't forget that. All right, we're almost there. We're almost done with this stage. And sometimes with hair, it's just easier to do with the lasso, which is why I am. All right, how is that looking? That should be a little darker. All right. Didn't do this guy's hand up here. Lovely, lovely. Almost, almost. All right. Values. So this is a good indication for anybody that's like, if you're confused about how do you separate everything with value? Well, you don't have to separate everything with value. Like from like zoomed out on this, you know, like her and everybody else, like they all kind of feel like one, you know, big value shape, and they kind of are. So I am going to do a few more brighter highlights on her to pull her a little bit more forward. But most of the separation between these planes is going to happen, you know, with hue and saturation. So I know I talk values a lot of time, all the time, and it's very, very important. But It's not the only way to separate things. Remember that. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Okay, so we got our values. I can use merge. Well, I can't. Do that. Merge down. All right, we got values. Boy, I can't type. Values. Values. How about that? Yeah. And I'm also going to lock this for now, although I'll probably be unlocking it to do some stuff. And I'm going to start with the big flats, I think, and get the front plane. I'm thinking. If this, I'm just going to try something here for a second. A little experimenting. This is an overlay layer, by the way, if you're wondering. What this is overlay on top of the values under the inks. Yeah, I think I want to start this one with a little bit of coolth. Remember that word? We learned that's actually a thing. The opposite of warmth, there is a coolth. And I love saying coolth because it sounds so weird. Hello, everyone. Welcome, Art Tangent Art. How's it going? Maybe we'll start there. That's such a 90s thing to do. that particular, that big purpley color. Or do we want to go red or orange? Something like that. Something in the ballpark of that. And I'm doing this in overlay mode, and you can see that it's not really letting me darken these lights, because that's kind of the magic with overlay mode, is that it doesn't affect the darkest end or the lightest end. All right, let's get in here and start with her. And I'm just using a, this is just a soft round brush. There's really nothing particularly interesting about it. It is literally just a soft round airbrush, before someone asks. And again, as a first pass, you're like, I don't know, that color's a little weird. Well, we're on a separate layer, so we can change the hue. We can saturate it. We can desaturate it. And all the values we did earlier are all staying intact. That is why I love this mode. This one. That's why I'm coming to love this mode, I think. I'm going to take a little bit of saturation out of that. And again, I'm staying on the same layer, going a little warmer. And we'll touch on some of these shadow areas a little bit. But again, I'm really kind of letting what's there do most of the heavy lifting. And it already starts to feel a little more like skin and not just, you know, some material. So just went a little bit warmer on the shadows, and you can, I could continue doing this on this layer, but because I want to have the ability to separate this light from what I've been doing, I am doing this on a separate layer also. You can do it on another blending mode on top, and it will still blend the same way. It'll just blend over everything. Excuse me. And I'm actually going to go ahead and... No, I'm not yet. Don't listen to me. So, how's everybody doing? Questions, comments, concerns? Never been live before? Perfect timing while I do some flatting. Yeah, I do this every Wednesday, and also sometimes other times if I'm feeling like it. And I'm going to take some of the saturation out of these fishnets so they look more like the color I'm expecting here, which is about like that. Again, that's just all that is shifting the overlay that's already there. And then her boots. Excuse me. Can we buy that magic piece as a print? I don't think so. I'll have to ask Rebecca about that. I'm having the heavy metal magazine feeling. I like it so much. Yeah, I'll take that. I think I'll take that. That is an excellent reference there. Sure. And I think I'm blanking on her skirt all of a sudden. It's red also. Yeah, okay, it's red. Yeah, all of this stuff is actually red. Whoops. That. Whoops. Not that. That and that. And that. Make sure I don't have anything else selected. And again, I'm just gonna get red, and I'm gonna start in the middle. There's no need to like go insane red colors and see what that looks like. It's like, looks pretty good, but it's not really red enough. So saturate it. We just saturate it after the fact. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I like how this is turning out. Yeah, this is coming together very quickly. Let's get this guy done while we're here. Okay, not that. I should have fixed these flats earlier. Not that. And not all of that. I'm just trying to get the yellow of this guy at the moment. And his costume. Are his legs red? Sorry, I gotta check I gotta check something here. No. That's all skin. Yeah, he's almost naked. Okay, of course he is. So there's all my yellow. And again, the yellow's a brighter value already. And we're gonna lean this right around right there-ish. Let's see what happens. And actually, I don't want this to brighten at all. So I'm actually gonna start, I think, with a darker base. I probably need to adjust these flats, or I need to adjust the values underneath, I think. Because I don't, let me try something. If we do that, yeah, that's close, but not quite what I want to do. Let's undo that. Make sure I've selected his claws, which are also yellow. And I'm going to darken all of this a little bit. Around there. And it's the highlights that I want to read as yellow. Not the... what do you call it? Not the... What am I trying to say? My brain really does not work while I'm thinking about color. I want the local color to appear to be yellow. The shadow is not going to be yellow. It's going to be more orange. Because again, dark yellow doesn't look right. So we'll start with that. And I still want to darken that a little bit more. Does this answer your question earlier, Jason, about what would you do if it was blah, 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 and that had to happen? What if you have a colored light source? What if you had a colored light source, like if the light shining on her were blue? Thank you for the membership, Bosk. Appreciate that. Hey, House of Nerd, how are you? It wouldn't really change anything, except instead of going straight for the skin tone, like it probably would have been more like that magic piece where the skin starts off a lot grayer. Just because cool colors are gonna, kind of neutralize the skin. And then instead of warm colors, I would probably have also gone, a little cooler or something, like, instead of what I did. If it were blue or whatever. Let's see. All right. where was I? And actually, I think on this guy, I really should fix these flats now. Give me a second. I should have just saved it earlier and I forgot to do it again. If you're a flatter and you have like skin against skin that are on separate planes, it helps to separate it. You know what I mean? Like this hand is the same color as this arm, let's say. Separate it in the flats anyway. It will make that a lot easier. I'm actually going down to the values on this and adjusting those a little bit just to increase the contrast, basically. And whoops, while I've got that selected, go to the flats and change it, Kurt. Don't do it again. Let me make the same mistake again. Does that work? Okay, yeah. I should be able to now select just that. Close enough. All right, so now we go back to the overlay layer with an actual yellow this time. And we're gonna push this a little bit toward yellow. And that will sort of, like some of these like whiter highlights that are that white to orange transition, I don't really care for. So this yellow sort of helps with that. And again, all of that a little lighter than I want it to be. So again, just going to open up the sliders for the levels, make some adjustments there. And you can see, it's like, well, this still doesn't look a little kind of weird. That's because we're starting in a deep orange. And as we go to the highlights, we're staying orange. It's the exact same value because all I did was change the value and not the hue. And so now I'm going to go over the top of that with a slightly warmer color that will, I don't need that selected right now. A slightly warmer color that will tint that away from that white, which I don't really care for. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. Happy new comic book day. Hey, House of the Nerd, welcome. I was just checking out one of your YouTube tutorials yesterday and it helped me a lot. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Which one was it? Which one did you like? Again, just going down to the values, darkening all of that a little bit. You guys prefer me yakking or quiet? I don't know at this point if we're doing anything new or anything, but again, just warming the skin up a little bit here so that it's not just a flat transition. Pushing this leg back a little bit more, separate it from the ones that are from the rest of his skin anyway. Whoops. And I do think I want to push. Let's see, hold on. I think I want to push the highlights on him a little bit more. On the yellow parts anyway, I think. And I'm just going to do this on a this pencil tool. And this will be a little bit faster to get some of these other details in here that seem a little light at the moment. He has like a dent in his head, which is funny. I actually kind of like the. I mean, I'm gonna do more rendering on these guys, but I kind of like this the idea of them all being kind of. If you really wanted to separate them out, this would be a way to leave it. All right. Praise hard light. 2 videos, simple way to use color palettes, and 5 ways hard light is great for digital coloring. Awesome. Listening to your thought process behind technical decisions is gold. All right, I'll keep yakking, I guess. I'm curious about something. I just want to try something which might not work. But if I select all of them and copy the flats from my flatter, which I did send them reference, but they're not really right. Paste them as a new layer and then set it to overlay. And it still needs to be adjusted, but We're in the ballpark. uh, yeah, let's do that. I'm just gonna start here. And I actually, even though under most normal circumstances, I would probably warm up that stuff on him, but because she's red and also warm, I kind of shifted him into the greenish area instead of going toward red. I got other stuff changing here. Hold on. It's like, wait, I didn't want that to change too. There we go. First thing I'm going to do above the inks on this one is just make this glow. Again, it's a hard light layer. And I don't like how gray his hands are, and so I'm actually gonna intensify them a little bit. Bring them forward a little bit more. He's cool. Let's see, let's darken this a little bit. Lovely, lovely. Oh, I didn't do his hand. I just realized. I'm going to come down to... excuse me. Just going to come down to the values layer. And adjust this very quickly. Beautiful. I'm really wondering if... Hold on. What if... Yeah, we might do something like that, where we just kind of like do like a really desaturated or something. I might try that later. Let me finish this and then we'll see what's going on. His skin's a little weird. And I cannot remember what color this dude is. Blue and purple. Man, two colors I don't want to introduce at this point. No, so I'm going to just keep them really desaturated. Anytime you introduce a color that is completely unique to a drawing, always manage it. Like, because if something is too unique, if it takes up enough space, it's definitely going to stand out unnecessarily, maybe more than you want. And what color is this? There's two women this could be. And one's wearing red, one's wearing yellow. I know what you're thinking. Car, that kind of looks like a butt. Well, guess what? Newsflash. That's exactly what it is. This guy, I can't remember him either. He is... Nope, not on that page, not on... Oh, he doesn't appear in this issue. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself. I'm trying to find a reference for these characters that I've already done 6 times. There we go. Yeah, he is also a little on the warm side. We'll make the blood very red. Hack slash. It's not pronounced hack slash slash. Where did the beard go? It'll come back. Loving the cover so far. Thank you, Mr. Woods. Appreciate it. We're getting there. I'm thinking again. Oh no. And I actually think I need to tint all of this in some kind of way, because I just don't care for the color composition as it currently works. So what if... Sorry, I'm just going to try some stuff here. Excuse me. Almost any color here, I'm guessing, is going to work. Because they're all... Yeah, so as we get near red, that's going to start to like blend everything together, so it's probably not where we want to end up. But cool. Cool, looks cool. Green looks particularly strong because it's opposite red. And then yellow is getting back to too close to red. So let's see if we go. What if we do that? And then I'm gonna have to select all of that stuff, aren't I? Probably so. I think I'm gonna want to color the lines on this, and it's gonna take a second to do, but I think it'll be worth it. There's really no fast way to make this happen. I mean, there is some shortcuts. We could use the flats or whatever, but you end up cleaning up because the flats cut through the center of the line, and I don't want that. So what I'm actually going to do is select the foreground, and then we're going to invert it to have the background ink selected. Because I basically just want to push the contrast in the background further away, and the black lines will limit that to some extent because you can only affect contrast so much when you've got a lot of black. But if we change the black lines, then we can really create separation between that and the foreground. And that is what I think this needs right now. I'll say it needs it. It's just, this is what I want to do. I think it'll look cooler. Maybe. We'll find out very shortly. Loving the cover so far. Yeah, me too. I'm again a little surprised at how quickly this is gone. But I guess after 2 attempts at this, doing the grayscale to color thing, I shouldn't be shocked anymore. Alright, what's left? All of this and the guy at the bottom. We're going to do him too. If you're just joining, welcome, welcome. Coming into the home stretch here. I'm going to leave that leg back there dark, I think. Like, basically leave it as if it was part of the plane behind it. Fix that blood on his head later that I forgot about. But if you're just joining, if it's your first time in here, you have no idea what's going on, I'm a comic book colorist. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This channel is supported by my coloring courses and Patreon and different things in the description, so please check it out if you haven't. Most of y'all probably have. Recognize a lot of names in here. But if you want to learn how to color in Photoshop or Clip Studio or Procreate, or there's some stuff you can learn at the links in the description. Okay, I think that's everything. I'm just gonna save this as a separate selection or on a separate layer. So I can grab it again if I want. And let's see, ink selection. There we go. And so I'm gonna control click that, invert that, and now I've got everything in the background selected. But I don't want this stuff in the front to be made darker or lighter, what I'm about to do. And on the inks, I'm going to put a new layer above it, clip that layer to it, and we're going to fill that with a color. And let's see what... I don't know if I'm crazy about the color, but I do actually think this is going to be changed. And if we go less saturated, what happens? It does that. If we go more saturated, it looks crazy. It looks like that. And here's my really professional way of figuring out what color the background should be. You just try them all. Very complex, advanced color theory at work here. And come right back around to that blue again, didn't I? And that I like. I'm going to put a mask on that layer now and bring some of this back and see what it looks like. And just leave it changed at the bottom. Do I like that or do I not? Yeah, these are the kind of decisions that I'll spend the next 15 minutes trying to figure out. How much do we want to push this? And what if we do that? And I'm going to put a mask on that layer also. And soften that a little bit. And do I like that, or is it just muddying everything? Let's see. Let's go back. Sorry, I'm in experimenting mode at the moment. Oh, his eyes are yellow in this. So basically, this cool hard light layer, I am painting out in places. but not everywhere. And hopefully that will do what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'm just painting some of it out, but not all of it. Yeah. Okay, I think we're all right. I think we're gonna make it, guys. It was touch and go there for a second, but wait, let me write that down. Try them all. Yeah, try all the colors, and whatever doesn't work is the ones you should use. That's there. That's it, man. You nailed it. You've got it. I wasn't supposed to turn him yellow. I just realized that. Hold on. Let's do that. How about that? All right. So I'm going to do some more detailing on Cassie, I think, and see what happens. We're getting warmer. We're definitely getting warmer. And you know what I'm gonna do? Let's make this easier on me. I'm gonna make a levels adjustment that does not overexpose everything here. And warm it up a little. Don't really want cool light. No. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying stuff. All right. This is just a levels adjustment, which is going to lighten a little bit, and it's tinted red, like just slightly. And I'm just pushing the highlights on her a little bit more than what's there. Lights up. I love this part. This is kind of my favorite part too, where it's just like things are starting to happen and it's starting to look like it's almost done. Yeah, that is definitely one of my favorite parts. I'm just going to put a normal layer on top of this for what I'm trying to do here, because the colors that are on here are just fine. Yeah, this should also help with some of the what do you call it? Some of the skin back here that looks a little too cool. Well, I don't know if that's doing what I want it to do or not. Yeah, I'm just going to turn down that hard light layer. I'm going to desaturate it on his skin so that more of his skin comes forward a little bit. And again, I want to try something. I reserve the right to undo later. Yeah, it brings her out a little bit more. You can't ever go wrong with a rim light, you know? Where's all that red light coming from? Or yellow light coming from, Kurt? Doesn't matter. Oh, that helps so much. Good grief. I'm like, why is this not working? Oh, it's because her bat is blue. Or too cool, basically. And I'm just taking, I'm cooling, warming up some of this cool stuff down here now. Doesn't have to be that cool. All right, I'm doing more staring at it than working on it. That's usually a good sign. I hate when there's something that like I know is not exactly what it should be and I don't know what it is just yet, and I'm not asking, by the way. But that might be what we need. Let's see if we do. Sorry, this is how it is sometimes. Sometimes you just look at it and keep looking at it. I'm just trying to get Shadowhawk selected at the moment, so I can remove this right here a little bit. There we go. I'm trying to decide if that's too on the nose as far as like that yellow, or if I like it or if I don't like it. That's the separation though that it's currently bugging me. All right, I think I'm going to call it for now. So I'm staring at this enough, and I will probably I don't know. I'll probably walk away from this, come back in an hour, and go, "Why did I do all that?" And then like undo a bunch of this. It's close. It's close to where it needs to be. It's not quite there. I'll figure it out at some point. Looks great, dude, per usual. Yeah, I'm happy with it. I am. Whoops. Sorry. There's something that'll hit me later today and be like, oh, you should do this. I don't know what that is yet, but it's not done yet. I have a spider sense for these things. Let's see. That looks great. Hacking and slashing looks good. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you all for watching today. I really appreciate it. This was a fun one. We're at like 2 hours, so like time wise, we're about where I normally am with covers of this detail, I would say. And I'll figure out what needs to be fixed and let y'all know. Anyway, but yes, thank you. Check the links in the description. Like, subscribe, buttons, crap, do all that stuff. And I'll see y'all next time. Take care.